months. So we can look forward to a future of essentially unlimited speed and unlimited processing power. So the cost of microchips and hard drives will fall to less than $1 a piece. Tiny, powerful sensors will be embedded in everything, from clothes to furniture. A new intelligent infrastructure will emerge, we would argue heavily powered by Android. And by 2020, fiber networks will be deployed in almost every city, delivering peak speeds of 1 gigabit per second and 300 megabits per second sustained. This is something Google is already working on. It's happening in Kansas City, Kansas, where we're building a super fast fiber network, as everybody knows. If you go to Korea and Japan, where those networks have already been built, you can see it. It's really life-changing. So we're beginning to see science fiction become a reality, thanks to these changes. Think back to Star Trek, or my favorite, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Much of what writers imagine is possible. Translation, voice recognition, ebooks, all routinely in use today. Think about Google Maps. Now these were the stuff of science fiction until very recently, and these things all happened faster than even scientists predicted. And while we overestimate short-term technological change, we tend to massively underestimate the more seismic shifts that take place long-term. The people who predict that holograms and virtual reality and self-driving cars will be commonplace quite soon are absolutely right. And these technological advances will redefine the way we live, the way we interact with each other. So think about the choices that you're so often forced, if you will, to make in life. You need to go to a conference across the world for work, and at the same time your favorite artist is playing live. Well, in the future, you'll be able to dispatch a robot, for example, to each venue, allowing you to experience both events. A little robot, by the way, you can pack them in, using a 3D screen and a control system. You can stay in your office at home, stand back and observe what both robots are experiencing simultaneously, or step in and control your robotic presence appropriately. So the next day, you won't be flying back across the Atlantic, so you'll be able to make your daughter's soccer game after all. Or think about the terrible road accidents, something much more serious than what I was just talking about, that you see in the press, or the traffic jams that you get caught up in all the time. Nearly 370,000 people lost their lives on U.S. roads in the last 8 years, 93% of them due to human error. Using technology to improve safety on roads and cut congestion will improve all of us. Think about the number of lives saved by this kind of stuff. And driverless cars are a lot closer than you think. Google's cars, which I think people have heard about, have already driven over 200,000 miles, and other companies and research institutions are doing groundbreaking research thinking about this and trying to make this stuff happen. And in America, states like Nevada, Florida, and California are now making the law possible for these things to actually end up on the roads, and they will be safer. That's the important point. But the progress that we'll experience won't be just as individuals. You'll see really smart things happening that will improve the way our societies operate. Now the trend of big data, and everybody understands this is a core trend of computer science. This trend of big data in computing will allow society to get much better insight into how people and communities function. Governments will be better able to spot economic indicators, right? Maybe they'll even see a crisis faster than the last one that they created, right? Doctors will be able to accurately predict the outbreak of disease. Teachers will get a better understanding of what works best for kids. And transparency will transform the way governments operate, forcing bureaucrats and politicians to be more open in their decision making. So there's an emerging global group of global citizens, inspired by people like Steve Jobs, who believe society can be shifted by these platforms, that the way we organize ourselves can make a difference. That these passions, that the people are so passionate that it borders on the religious, but the important and the ultimate achievement in this vision of the future is that technology actually disappears. Now I don't mean technology becomes less relevant, I mean it becomes part of everyday life. The people will have to spend less time getting technology to work, right? The years of debugging your PC long gone. Instead of worrying about which cable or which computers or where your content is stored, because it's also seamless. It will just be there. The web will be everything, but it will also be nothing. It will be like electricity, just always there. So as a result, people will instinctively trust in technology and have a greater faith in the technology that's part of their lives than in any other institution, and the future is indeed a very bright place. Now let's consider